And then COVID hit. And so it was just Mindy and I. We had terminated a few employees that just weren't doing a good job. And so it was just Mindy and I until June of 2020. And then I added Lori as our business development manager and a woman named Gina, who I had worked with since 2009.
Okay.
So they started, and then we just started growing and growing and growing. So we have right about 850 homes now.
Okay.
So from 250, so we've grown about 600 homes in 2 years.
Yeah, especially during this COVID.
I know.
Navigating.
I know. So we just keep adding people. We just keep adding them on.
Yeah.
But I've run out of people. I'm like, I don't know. I don't trust anybody else. I'm going to have to start doing some interviewing. I haven't interviewed anybody in 2 years. It's just people I've known and worked with. So.
Yeah, you've really helped. Because Home River is actually a nationwide.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so wow. They're so lucky that they found you, that you can.
Yeah, I'm lucky too. Yeah. I every year at my anniversary, I send the woman who hired me a thank you card. Because
wow, that's a good statement.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like she saved me. Yeah, yep.
How long have you been in the industry? You and
25 years.
And Lori too, right?
Lori's been in there over 20 years, yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. It goes to show like you guys really like
Yeah, we really enjoy working together and you know, I mean, it's kind of like family. You know, sometimes you butt heads, but it's good to have that camaraderie and that history together. Yeah. So we know each other. We know each other very, very well.
Yeah, that is awesome. So when you grew, so then who were the property managers or?
So currently we have 3 property managers, Tristan, Sharon, and a woman named Kelly.
Okay.
And they all worked with me at our last job.
Oh, nice. All with like the mix of multifamily.
They were all multifamily. Sharon had single family experience as well, but we all came from a company we worked for had about 25 multifamily properties.
Okay.
And so I left and then added Mindy and then added Lori and Gina and Kelly.
Nice. And so how many out of those 850 homes are single family versus like 2 to 4 units or more?
Oh, I would probably say 60% are single family.
Okay. And then what percent?
And then the other 40 would be duplex, fourplex.
Are mainly those. Okay.
Right, yeah. And triplex. I mean, I guess we do have some triplex,
but you don't really do the 5 and up.
Yeah, we have 1, 2, I think we have about 10 that are over 5.
Okay.
We actually just signed on a property in KCK that's 24 units. It's 2 12-unit buildings.
Okay.
And then we also have a multifamily side in the Kansas City area, which Lori and I started.
Okay.
There's a brand new Class A property that's being built.
Okay.
240 units. And we manage that. And then we have one in Columbia, Missouri as well.
Oh, okay. So that side is
right. It's a little different. Anything over 100 units will be ran on the multifamily side. Anything below 100 will be ran on my side.
Oh, and so there's different team.
There's actually Lori's sister is our.
I love it.
It's very familial. Yeah. Lori's sister is the regional for the multifamily side.
Oh, okay. Like I'm asking all these questions because I'm a member of this investor group.
Oh, okay.
Called Lifestyles Unlimited. They're based out of Texas.
Oh, okay.
And like the founder, self-made, just like in multifamily, and he was like I think a physical fitness trainer, and then worked with multifamily owners who then kind of started teaching him how to like bird dog, and then he ended up learning how to acquire, and he's like. Maybe, I don't know, his net worth maybe 2 years was like $50 million in multifamily. And his legacy is like, I just want to teach other families and individuals how to follow my footsteps. So he created this huge investor group and lots of education.
Nice.
And so we bought our first like single families in San Antonio, managed long distance from San Diego because of what they've taught us, and
Right.
just the networking and
Yes.
sharing vendors. And so they have maybe like 30 to 50,000 members now, like
Wow.
who paid like 5,000 to be a member of the single family, and up to like 20,000 to be a member of the passive investing group, where you get access to their lead investors. So they teach individuals how to become lead investors and syndicate
Right.
deals.
Right.
And so they become really big. They expand out of Texas, and now they've got like a big presence in Phoenix, because wherever investors are interested in.
Sure.
And I'm one of the first few who are pioneering Kansas City.
Nice.
And so we're trying to encourage them to open presence here, and that's why knowing people like you is so critical.
Yes.
To making investors feel comfortable.
Right. In my last job, I was the director of multifamily, and
Okay.
so basically I was doing multifamily for 23 out of the last 25 years.
Wow,
And it's
okay.
just when I started this job
Yeah.
that I did the single family, and I was like, oh my God, it's got to be the same. It's not the same. It's totally different. Totally different, but it's okay because now I have that experience of the multifamily side
Yeah.
and the single family side,
Okay.
so that we have the ability to go either way, help people who
Yeah.
have smaller,
Yeah.
multifamily or larger
Yeah.
multifamily.
That is what's so great, is that you have that, because we got referred to other property management companies here, but they seem to be more focused on single family.
Yeah.
And we go like, multifamily is different.
It is.
So
It's
that
very
was
different.
to hear from your side that it wasn't just like, easy to get into single families.
Well, I will tell you, it was a learning lesson and an ego lesson.
Yeah.
Because I came in, I just left a job,
Yeah.
being the director for over 5,000 units.
Yeah.
And so I come here for 250, and I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, why are all these people calling me at once? You go from, 1, 2, 3 investment groups to 200 different owners.
Right.
So it is, I said the biggest thing I've learned in the last 2 years is how to multitask,
Yeah.
and that I have ADHD.
I think you have to be
I do.
in this industry, because then you naturally
Yes.
are built to.
Yes. I had one little monitor on my laptop at my last job. I have 3 monitors now with 3 different
My
things.
son would love that. He wants a gaming computer with like 5 monitors.
Yes. And when I'm like, oh, this is silly. Who needs this? And by 2 weeks in, I was like, how did I ever live without this? This is phenomenal. So it's hard when I work from home, because I have an extra monitor at home, but
Totally.
I'm like, oh, I don't want to hook up.
Yeah.
Within an hour, I'm like, I'm
That's why
hooking
my
up.
husband liked working at the office, just because the whole setup of the monitor.
Yeah.
And
And I did that too. I was the
Yeah.
only one in the office. Mindy, who is
Yeah.
the maintenance coordinator, she was pregnant, so she worked from home.
Oh.
And
okay.
so I worked in the office, but I was
Okay.
here by myself. I have my maintenance team,
Yeah.
but I was here by myself,
Yeah.
lights off, except for my little office area,
Yeah.
door locked, and did that for 6 months. Answered the calls.
I can see why you have so you do have your own maintenance team.
Yes, we do. We have
Okay.
4 maintenance technicians, and actually we're growing.
Right.
We have somebody who just specializes in make ready. We have somebody who does HVAC and higher level stuff.
Okay.
We have our maintenance lead who kind of helps coordinate the staff and the team, and he does work orders.
Okay.
Pardon me. And then we have somebody who does inspections.
Okay.
And he'll come and he'll do the biannual inspections. I don't know if Lori talked to you about those.
Not yet.
Okay, so biannual inspections are really important.
Okay.
We, if you so choose to sign up for it, we schedule, and one of our people schedules, that's primary her
Okay.
job, is scheduling with the tenants, and we will go in twice a year. We'll take pictures, we'll do a report,
Okay.
run the water, talk to the tenants. Do you have any issues? Anything like that. Make sure that some shady stuff's not going on. So we get to be in the house at least twice a year,
Yeah.
which for investors like you that are long distance, that's vital. And then we'll send you an email that says, hey, when we were there, the sink is leaking, or this, or hey, we recommend pest control because these people are pigs, and we're charging them back. So it's kind of a touch base.
Great.
It's not required, but we highly recommend it.
Okay. And like when that happens, is it like we'll get an email, or like even with release rules, is there like a system that triggers so that like your team is notified and we're notified, like, we gotta talk about this, or we're looking at this?
So regarding the lease, the system will trigger, like when it comes up to renewal, the system will trigger an email and say this lease is expiring. But around that same time, your property manager will reach out to you and say, this person lives here, we've done a market survey, they're paying $800, we think you should be getting $950. Do you want to bump it up that much? Or, do you want to go up a $50 increment? Also with the understanding that if you try to bump them up to $950, they may move, and now you're incurring make-ready cost. And so that's kind of the conversation that the property managers have with the owners.
Okay, so it is like a trigger, and then do the property managers try to like contact us to make this appointment?
They'll talk to you. They'll talk to you and say, this is what's coming up, and this is what our market survey said, and this is what we recommend. Sometimes the owners will come back and say, no, I don't want the vacancy. I don't want the vacancy loss. And other times they'll say, push it to the full extent. Let's see what we can get.
And do you kind of take into consideration, like, do you have the staff to handle the turnover? Because I know with all the supply chain, it's like, that's like a new thing of like, man, I know we'd like to remodel this place, but it might take a lot longer.
It may take longer. We are running into that. Like cabinet fronts are taking a lot longer to get in. We use vendors for flooring. So generally we're waiting on the bid to come from them. But Mindy, who's the maintenance coordinator, she will schedule a time to, when somebody moves out, let's say somebody vacates, our team will go in and do a move out inspection. By law, we have to account for what happened with their security deposit within 30 days.
Gotcha. Okay.
So our technician will go in and they'll take about a 95-page report. And they will take pictures of everything. That outlet there, that light fixture there, that light switch there. And it's, from the corner of the room, they take a picture, and then they take a picture of darn near everything in the room. And then Mindy will reach out and say, here is what we recommend. If somebody has moved in using Home River Group, we have that same report from before they moved in. So what Mindy does is look at the before and the after, and she'll reach out and say, look, this carpet was 7 years old when they moved in. It is showing more wear. We recommend you replace it. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything damaging done by the tenants other than normal wear and tear. But there could be a hole in the wall, and so then she will determine and show you, this is a tenant charge, this would be considered normal wear and tear.
And what's her background?
Mindy has been in project management and property management for about 10 years.
But she has that kind of eye for what repairs or...
Correct.
Like, does she decide what kind of make ready or rehab should be done? Should we do the new cabinets or just paint those cabinets?
So she'll reach out to you and say, this is some options. These cabinets are beyond repair. Do you want, or these cabinets are scratched up. You can put a new box in and put new cabinet fronts in. Or she'll say the box is in great condition, but we probably need to put new cabinet fronts on.
Okay.
I
see.
And so she'll send out a list, or
Okay.
I mean, depending on the condition of the home,
Yeah.
it could be a long one or
Yeah.
or not so much. And then it's truly up to you to say, I'm good. Just tighten those hinges up. We should be good. Side note, I have broken off management with some owners because of their refusal to do repairs.
Oh yeah.
So they want $1,300 a month, but
yeah,
they don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's nice about our investor group is they teach us to put out a good product.
Right.
Even do a little bit below market rent, then you get the quality tenants that stay longer.
That stay longer. And our job is to screen those people and make sure that the right people are there.
Yeah. Chris said that he said you guys do a better job because the ones he's
he
having
was
to
terrible.
evict are the ones he's asked to.
He said it in our meetings too. He's like, I'm the worst at this. So just as an example for our screening, COVID hit everybody hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. So at the time of COVID, when COVID started, we probably had 600 units. So we were hovering about 600. Throughout all of COVID, I think we had 5 people who didn't pay.
Okay.
So that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty low percentage. Which, those 5 owners were not happy.
Yeah.
Because those people were like, nope.
Oh, moratorium time.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't have to pay. I'm just sitting in my house. The government said I don't have to pay. And we still emailed them and we still checked in and said, anything changed? You found a job yet?
Yeah.
They're all gone now.
Yeah.
So we were successful in getting people out.
Yeah. Okay.
We also send them documentation for state housing that says here's some paperwork. If you want to fill this out, the state will help you. But they're responsible. They have to turn in their paperwork and then we have to turn in our paperwork. But we probably got $35,000 in state funds for owners.
Oh, wow.
But just by sending that to tenants and saying, you need to do this.
Yeah. I heard that Chris, he likes to do his own turnovers.
He does, yeah.
Do you think, there's a big difference in,
Well, we charge a markup.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, obviously it's a business, so we do charge a markup.
Is that just for turnovers, or is that also for all the?
It's the maintenance.
Oh, okay, so all maintenance, if it's not from your team, is that what?
Well, so our team, we don't charge them out. So we have certain rates for our team, and that's it.
Oh, okay. What are those rates about? Do you know?
55 and 85.
Okay.
The 85 is going to be like,
The former.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So 2 sides of the coin. You have Chris, who is local, who has a vendor base, who has the time to coordinate.
Yeah.
And then I have some owners that are long distance that they're like, just send me my distribution every month.
Yeah.
I hired you to take care of this.
Yeah.
No wrong answer, just a different
Yeah.
management style.
I see. So if it's outside of your maintenance team, like for instance, if we did flooring, then you would just add 10% to it.
Well, if you said, look, I've got a flooring person that I'm going to use, we're not going to charge for that. I mean, we would never charge you for that because you coordinated it.
Okay.
If we did the flooring, then it would be a 10% markup.
To whatever that subcontract. Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Right. So yes, we're kind of like a general.
Yeah.
Because it does take Mindy's time
Oh,
to coordinate and get to know people and make sure we onboard our vendors, we make sure they have insurance.
Yeah. If I did, would Mindy if we just happened when we're doing a make ready, we liked one of Chris's flooring people I could coordinate with Mindy to put that person.
We would love to onboard more vendors. So I mean absolutely I've taken over onboarding the vendors.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that in the last week or so, and we've onboarded about 5 new vendors.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that you just feel like you're just trying to do what's best and practical.
Right.
You know. Like,
Yeah,
it's
and
big stuff.
we have onboarded vendors because an owner said, hey, this is my vendor, and they're reasonable.
Yeah.
As long as they have the insurance that we require.
Yeah, okay.
If they don't,
Right.
then-
you can't use them.
right,
Yeah, that
right.
makes sense.
which I also explained to the owners, this is, if you have an occupied home, we vet our vendors. I had one owner that refused, and all he wanted to do was get people off of Craigslist. And I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
verify that this serial killer's not going to attack our tenant. We can't do this. I don't understand. He put an ad on a Craigslist. I'm like, exactly. That's my point.
That's a kid.
So, yes, he's
Yeah.
saving you a couple hundred, but the manslaughter
Okay.
charges are going to be a
Yeah.
little hefty. So, we just can't, risk that.
Yeah, that makes sense. How quickly do you think with your current maintenance staff too, like if there was like a repair request from the tenant, is it like within 24, 40 hours or sometimes longer?
Really depends on what it is. So, you would tell us, I don't want to know anything unless it's over X amount of dollars. So, my
Okay.
threshold is average is
Okay.
300.
Okay.
Okay, so you would say anything below 300, I don't want to know about.
Okay.
Okay, anything over 300,
Yeah.
and this is a industry term of art, fire, flood, or blood.
Okay.
We generally handle those to
Yeah.
avoid damage to the asset and
Yes.
habitability for the tenant.
Yeah. Okay.
So if a water line
Yeah.
breaks
Yeah.
in the middle of the night, we're gonna get it taken
Yeah,
care of.
yeah.
We're not gonna say, hey, it's gonna be over 300. Are you okay with
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Gotcha.
So we'll take care of that. If it is a mechanical item, it's 50 degrees or less outside and the furnace is out and it's $300, we consider that kind of an emergency.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Same with AC on the other side.
would you say that even you're growing so fast, the existing team or you're able to accommodate requests, like keep tenants happy with?
Yes, I mean,
repairs?
it's a dance
Yeah.
because there are some tenants that say, I don't want you in my house without me here.
Right.
So we have to try to coordinate our
Yeah.
schedules with theirs.
Okay.
And if they're not flexible, then it has to be pushed.
Yeah.
And so if it is an emergency or a repair that could cause further damage to the home, we tell them, look, I understand that, but we have to get in here.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like in an 8-plex and it could affect
Yeah.
the surrounding units.
Yeah.
We have to get in there. If it's cosmetic, if there was a patch on the wall and they want it painted, it may be a week.
Yeah.
It may be a week. If it is something that we think needs to be handled and we can't get in there because everybody else has an emergency, we'll send it to a vendor.
Oh, gotcha. So will we just be tracking that activity somehow with the request to like, oh, that was solved?
Right.
Is that
So you'll have access to an owner's portal.
Okay.
And you'll be able to see in the owner's portal any work orders that are going on.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so good. So right now, I guess is our next step just reviewing the paperwork?
Yeah, I would talk to your husband, you
Yeah.
said, and if you want to talk to Lori, and
Yeah.
I don't know what she quoted you.
Okay.
But if you want to, not saying she's going to, but you
Yeah.
can try to negotiate
Yeah.
with her. And then she'll have, with the PMA,
Yeah.
there'll be a summary page, and
Okay.
it'll say, this is how much the management fee is.
Yeah.
This is the renewal cost, this is the leasing fee, and it'll all be in a 1-page document.
And from that signing, let's say, because since we're closing on Friday, like what ideally should happen so that the tenant, because it's October 29th,
Right.
so we're like, pay rent, like making sure that they
Right.
know where to pay.
It's
rent.
always fun at the end of the
But it's
month.
from CJ Property, so Lori said, we've handled.
Yeah, actually, I
everything."
just left a message for somebody for CJ
Yeah.
today. We played phone tag yesterday. So generally, when it comes to this close to the month, generally what happens
Yeah.
is some residents inevitably,
Try not to pay.
well, they either find a way not to pay, or they don't check their email,
Yeah,
or they
yeah.
see an email from Home River Group,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Whatever.
I'm not falling for that scam. So we try to reach out, you
Yeah.
know, phone calls often go ignored. We work with the former property management company and say, hey, can you send them a note that they'll be reaching out? Because that is what
yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
So, like, Friday, we have a new company taking over for one of our owners.
Okay.
And so we contact our tenants and we say, hey, you know, it's been great working with you, but XYZ Property Management will now be your new manager.
Yeah.
It's a new owner, new manager, and please make sure you accept emails from them.
Yeah.
We try to give them a heads up because they know us, they trust us.
Yeah.
It's a little different situation.
Okay. So, do you think, like, come Friday, hopefully, like, say CJ sends that email, it depends on when we close, they might not.
They probably won't.
So then,
I've worked with them.
right?
They probably won't.
We've heard their reputation. So what would you do? Would you just put a notice?
So we'll reach out to the tenants
Yeah.
and say, as soon as the PMA is signed, and we also need the documentation. So we'll need their email addresses,
Yeah, contact.
their contact information, so that we can start sending emails out
Yeah.
ASAP that
Yeah.
says, hey, effective this date, we're your
Yeah.
new property manager. What generally happens though, since CJ has the deposits, will that
Yeah.
be transferring at escrow?
Yes. So
So the deposits will
Yeah.
be, you might want to check your closing docs.
okay, to see if this. What are the options that transfer to?
Well, generally, closing security deposits will be transferred at
Yeah.
escrow.
Yeah.
The other option is CJ has them
Yeah.
and they'll bring them to us.
Oh, but if it was sent to escrow, then can we have escrow send it to you, or have
Yeah.
it come to us and then go to you?
Your escrow, yeah, I mean, they can send it to us, that's fine. We have to coordinate the keys.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also, CJ generally will send us a check and say, apartment B paid us, apartment C paid
Yeah.
us. It just may not be until the middle to end of next week
Right.
because they have to make sure the funds clear.
Oh, so it is common for CJ to transfer those deposits to you.
Generally, it's if you're an existing owner with
Yeah.
CJ and you want to transfer management companies,
Yeah.
because most security deposits are
Oh.
management company held.
Yeah. So.
We recommend that we hold the deposits. So yes, it is very common for CJ to transfer those
Okay.
deposits to us.
Okay.
But in a sale, 90% of the
It goes
time,
through
it's part
escrow.
of your escrow.
Okay. Okay. So that at least we'll try to make sure that it somehow gets to you once we sign that.
Right.
agreement.
It
Okay.
may be that we can look, we'll analyze the leases
Yeah.
and say, okay, apartment A had 700, B
Yeah.
had 700, and we'll say, okay, Michelle, we
Yeah.
need this amount of money, and it should match your closing docs.
Yeah. Is Tristan the one doing that?
He and I can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once we sign the management agreement, we can just forward you everything that we've
Right.
been getting from contact information to
Correct.
lease renewal.
And we'll take it from there. Yep. Yes. Yeah,
So
we'll take it
what's
from
nice
there.
Is I feel like there's all these moving parts, but you have the experience to just deal
Right.
with CJ. So like our rent will be collected. And
Right. Either
all
it'll be
that.
collected by us or them,
Yeah.
and then they'll
Okay.
forward us
Yeah.
the check. And I don't know when obviously I don't know when the first mortgage payment will be due, but there's always that gray area
Yeah.
of, how much will be transferred at close.
Yeah.
And, because obviously if you close on the 29th, there's 2 days of rent that
Yeah.
need to be paid back,
Yeah.
or that need to be
Oh,
paid
they
to
do.
you
Yeah.
because they've already paid the other owner.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay,
that should be
that's right.
prorated. Those
Yeah.
2 days should be
Okay.
prorated too,
Okay.
which should show up on your
Closing
statement. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So
But
I'll
your
get with my husband and
title
Rory
person should be
to,
doing
to
that.
finish. Do people sign using DocuSign, or are
Yep.
you guys okay?
We have some people who are not fond of computers,
Okay.
and so we can print off a
Okay.
copy and they
Yeah.
can sign it in the office,
Okay.
or we have mailed it to them. But almost everybody does
Is
DocuSign.
it easy to print out a copy for me of what Lori might have sent to, because I,
Do you want the lease or do you want the PMA?
both?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get that. Hold on. Do you guys want any water? I see there's water
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But do you want water?
Did you need more water? I think we're okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. I there's coffee